Happening now, Henri hits. The storm weakens but packs a ferocious punch with heavy rain and flash flooding. Neighborhoods underwater. People rescued from cars and homes. Tens of thousands without power, and more rain and destructive winds could be on the way. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this busy night. I'm Gilma Avalos. Henri weakened to a tropical storm before making landfall in Rhode Island today, but it is lashing the tri-state with heavy bursts of rain, and it's not over yet. Henri's gusts have taken down trees and branches, including here in Montauk, just a few miles west of the eye of the storm. And those powerful winds knocked down power poles, sent trees flying into wires. At least 34,000 customers are in the dark across the tri-state tonight. We may have escaped a direct landfall here, but the most dangerous threat right now continues to be the heavy rain and the threat of flash flooding. This is new video from Hartford, Connecticut, as a new band of storms slams that area. Our reporters are spread out from central Jersey to Connecticut to eastern Long Island, and our meteorologists are here to guide you through it, starting with Storm Team 4's Janice Huff, who just got the newest data on Henri. Janice?
Hi, Gilma. Yeah, it doesn't look like much from our satellite view, Henri. It is weakening over New England, but the circulation around it is still causing problems for us here in the tri-state, especially across New Jersey with all of the flash flooding. We still have a lot of rain on the radar from New York City westward and north towards Poughkeepsie, and there are several warnings in effect for flash flooding right now. One of those was just issued for Morris, Sussex, and Warren counties until 11:45 tonight. Watch out in Parsippany and Morristown. We still have this one in effect until 8:45 for Bergen, Orange, Passaic, and Rockland counties for considerable flash flooding. And then the areas in green here across New Jersey and up towards Pike County, that's for river and stream flooding. That's happening because of the rain that's been falling all day and collecting. Rivers are rising. So you can see it continues through at least midnight. Heavy rain into the wee hours of the morning, circulates back around towards the city, and then starts to dissipate as the storm pulls away tomorrow into interior New England, just north of Boston, and then out to sea towards Nova Scotia. Well, the rain still coming down in the city right now. It's 71 degrees with light winds. We have had gusts in other areas, not so much in the city though. And you can see the rain remains on the map here for the rest of the night into tomorrow morning. So more flash flooding, more stream and river flooding is likely through the tri-state, especially for New Jersey. Storm Team 4's Matt Brickman and I will be back to break it down, the impacts, give you what to expect in the 10-day forecast coming up. Back to you.
Janice, thank you. Janice just mentioned New Jersey. Let's take you out to one of the hardest hit areas, Middlesex County here in New Jersey. Bands of rain all morning long overwhelmed creeks and sewers. Cars stalled out, trash cans floating in those floodwaters. Cruise and high water vehicles and swiftwater boats rescuing more than 150 people in Helmetta. And that's where we find News 4's Brian Thompson. Brian, it sounds like this happened quickly.
It did happen very quickly. People were shocked to wake up this morning or maybe finish their coffee and realize all of a sudden that they had to be evacuated. Look behind me here. The water is slowly going down, but it's still pretty high, as you can see that car all the way down there. But the good news is that there have been no injuries reported.
The evacuations for this small town were massive. Police, fire, EMTs from Helmetta and surrounding towns deploying by boat and on foot. This was historic flooding and no one knew when it would stop, including Alexis Richardson.
I actually drove my car down the street and then I walked through the water to get my brother and sister, and then we got all of our stuff and then we walked back.
With the support of several local, police, fire, EMS crews, the county, OEM, we were able to rescue about 150 to 200 residents from their homes.
Manholes bubbled all day long. Stranded cars were awash in water, likely making them a total loss. Floating debris in some places had nowhere to go except round and round. High water vehicles were busy trying to make sense of it all, as DPW crews late this afternoon were able to get out and start clearing some of the storm drains, but the water was still high.
All my stuff in my basement's gone. I don't know what else.
But you got your mom out.
I got my mom out. It was a good day of my dog.
On the ground in neighboring Jamesburg, the storm caused waterfalls of rushing water with flooding there. And then there was Cranberry with nearly 9 inches of rain. 150 people or so either pulled out of cars or rescued from their homes as the water kept rising and rising.
Now, at this point, it appears that people will not be able to get back into their homes until they're sure that the rain is not going to cause any more flooding here. Live in Helmetta, Brian Thompson, News 4 New York.
Just a big impact to that area. Brian, thank you. And in the hours leading up to the storm, it seemed eastern Long Island would take a direct hit from Henri. But some last-minute moves may have spared people the worst of it. Storm Team 4's Dave Price is live in Sag Harbor, where the remnants of Henri linger. Dave?
Well, Gilma, watching this storm, watching Henri make its way up the Atlantic and past Long Island was like watching a championship boxing match with one boxer trying to outsmart the other. Again, you saw the storm, it went west. All the folks from eastern Long Island went west. Then the storm did a head fake and went east, sparing this area a direct hit, but it still left a mark. Fierce waves, high winds, and heavy rain pounded the nearly deserted beachfront here in Wainscott through the early afternoon.
I can't believe there's no beach line. It's the first I've ever seen this.
Along with beach erosion, trees were down across the area, and just under 1,000 customers were left without power throughout Long Island as of late this afternoon. But damage, luckily, was nominal, and certainly a lot less than what was expected just 24 hours ago. What was your mindset early evening versus where we are right now?
It was going to be a lot worse because the way the track of the storm was coming, we thought we were going to get it right over Southampton, the eye of it. But we lucked out. The weather does what it wants to do. A little wind this way, a little bit that way makes a big difference for us out here. So it just, you have to watch it.
And that shift to the east made a big difference here. The Red Cross was set up with 20 beds and prepared for a direct hit from a Category 1 hurricane. Miguel Moreno helped run the temporary shelter set up at East Hampton High School.
You never know with a storm like this. It can come out of nowhere and be a disaster for this area.
But it wasn't, and for that we are all grateful. I am now standing under sunny skies here, and we just got an update at airtime from PSEG. Now just about 600 customers affected, so they continue to take that number down of those who have lost power as a result of this storm. Now everyone went west as the storm was approaching. Now expect them to turn around and head east once again as sunny skies and temperatures are back, and summer vacationers are going to be back along with them. That's the story here from Sag Harbor. The boats in the water, people coming out, and Henri has moved on for the most part. Back to you.
All right, Dave, thank you. And again, no direct impact here in the tri-state, but the threat not over yet for people in Westchester, for instance. In fact, they're getting heavy rain, and they've been getting heavy rain on and off all day. This is a look at Playland Parkway blocked off because of rising water. News 4's Mark Santia continues our coverage in Mamaroneck tonight. Mark, what's it looking like?
Gilma, we've been seeing constant bursts of rain here, and you're seeing right now ponding on the roads and rising rivers. Right now here in Westchester County, flooding is the concern. A driving rain pelted Playland as sewers try to keep up with the pooling water. Here in Westchester along the Sound and even inland, flooding is a concern.
We're fortunate in that the hurricane went further to the east and we didn't get more of the wind factor, which is where we could conceivably lost power and had a multiple day event.
But County Executive George Latimer stresses Westchester County is not out of the woods just yet.
The rain is pretty intense. Anybody looks out the window, certainly in the band that we're having in this part of the county. It's very intense rain.
From Eastchester and the Bronx River Parkway to a soaking here in Larchmont and north to Harrison, all eyes are on the rising waters as we head into the evening. We arrived here in Mamaroneck about 2 hours ago, Gilma, and we have seen noticeably, the Mamaroneck River here rising. We've seen a noticeable difference in just the last 2 hours. So if you have to head out, give yourself some extra time. Be safe out on the roads. We are seeing some ponding. We're starting to see some flooding across Westchester. We're live in Mamaroneck. I'm Mark Santia, News 4 New York.
Okay, Mark, thank you. Let's go ahead and check in with News 4's Adam Harding. He's live in Newark at one of several locations where dozens of people had to be rescued earlier, Adam.
And Gilma, the rain is still coming down, not too much in the way of wind right at this hour, but that rain here in the Ironbound district of Newark, really creating almost an inlet where we're standing right here on Wilson Avenue. And throughout the day, this area has seen a number of cars stranded in the water and about 86 people rescued. In fact, take a look behind us here. It looks like a sea out here on Wilson. You can see how high that water goes to the top back of that car there, about halfway up through that car. We're told 86 people throughout the day have been rescued in 11 different spots. And then there is this. Gilma, I want to show you these photos that we just got a short time ago from Newark officials. This is from Taylor Street, where officials say early this morning they noticed there was a problem in a foundation. A part of a home appeared to have corroded, lost part of its foundation as this weather was moving in. 23 people on Taylor Street, 36 and 38 Taylor Street, had to be evacuated by fire department officials because of concerns as this storm was making its way in. We spoke with one neighbor who had to be evacuated. He's not sure what comes next.
In the morning, the fire department comes. I was sleeping. Fire department comes and touch my house. What happening? No, you had to, everybody had to take out because the house that 36 Taylor Street, that's the basement coming down.
And what's really remarkable, Gilma, in that video, you can actually see from the street into the basement of the home. Of course, now the focus across the city is when will all of this water recede here on the streets. You can see cars still stranded. A number of people, Gilma, have come up to us in the last hour or two wanting to know if they can make their way down here. Certainly doesn't appear right now that that is a good idea. Officials stressing if you have to drive, avoid heavily flooded areas, many of them here in the Ironbound district. We're live tonight in Newark. I'm Adam Harding. News 4 New York.
Definitely heed those warnings. Adam, thank you.